I never took insurance. I still don't take insurance. I've never taken insurance a day in my life. I'm cash.
Is that a bad thing?
To take insurance? Yes.
Why?
Because you're taking a contract with the devil, basically. I'm taking a contract with, you made an agreement with your insurance company, not me. So they're not going to tell me what I'm going to do to you. I'm in charge of your care plan.
And you can say whatever you want on the podcast.
You know what I'm saying?
Just,
So I know, but I'm saying, I'm giving you an idea. I don't honor that contract you made. That was your decision.
Okay.
That I will not be beholden to an insurance company. If you take insurance, they're telling you what to do as a doctor. You're making care plan decisions based upon how many visits you're going to get, what you're going to be reimbursed for. That is not how I want to work. That is not how you get people well. And I get people well. I don't teach them to cope with a problem. I'm getting rid of it.
Eric Worre here. This is the Excellence Project. And today I have Dr. Stephanie Rimka here to talk about all things health, longevity, health span, lifespan. We talk about a lot of scientifically type stuff. If you're into this type of a topic, I know it's controversial. You talk to 10 different scientists, you're going to get 10 different answers. You're going to probably get some different answers that maybe you haven't heard before from Dr. Stephanie Rimka, but she comes highly qualified, a lot of patients, a lot of success over the years. And I think you're going to get value from it. If you know somebody interested in that, she's also successful as a network marketing distributor. So that combination is also interesting to be able to kind of manage. So if you know somebody interested in this, make sure you pass it along to them. But until then, make sure you listen to it yourself. So with no further ado, let's go into my conversation with Dr. Stephanie Rimka. Dr. Stephanie Rimka, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
What kind of a doctor are you?
I'm a chiropractor.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I
you're
started
very holistic as a person.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to know everything. So you're a Detroit person as well?
Correct.
Did you know I was a Detroit person?
I did. We talked about it a
Southfield,
little bit.
Michigan. So getting into holistic medicine, let's talk about just the medical aspect of your life first. Holistic medicine, what attracted you to this as a concept?
Wow, I'm going to say something I don't think I've ever said. And why it dropped in, I'm not real sure. So it probably started as soon as I was born. I was born jaundiced and I almost died. And there was only 5 machines in the state of Michigan that could have saved my life.
You were yellow.
Extremely. So I had to be left in this. There were 5 machines that had the light back then that could do what I needed. And I was the only baby. I'm the youngest of 4 that my mom had to leave in the hospital. So I was left there for a couple weeks because she had to go home and take care of the other 3. And I think it's just part of
How old were you?
I was at birth.
Okay.
Right. So it was like at birth. So I'm telling you, I've never really told that story. Like, okay, there's a whole story. I knew very young I wanted to be a doctor. I knew it as soon as, and I was in the doctors a lot. So we were on welfare. So I had Medicaid, right? We didn't have like a doctor. We were in a clinic a lot that was attached to the hospital, St. John's on the east side in Detroit. We were there all the time just because I was always getting into stuff. And I was always kind of the sickly one, even though I don't think of myself that way. And I have no mental picture of myself. I have no residual memory whatsoever in my mind. But when Forrest Gump came out, my brother said, "Oh, Stephanie, remember? I felt so bad when they were run, Forrest, run." I had those cables as well. So I was born with extreme inversion of my hips, and I had to come home. Not only was I in ICU for 2 weeks on this machine, they had to put a bar between my feet. So I came home then like cabled and strapped, and I couldn't move normally. And I wore the Forrest Gump cables every day till I was 7. I don't remember any of that, actually. So there's been this kind of very strong fight in me to prove something physically over what they said I could do or who I could be, kind of a thing physically.
Right.
So like many times in the ER, we'd be there because I was fighting with somebody 5 years older than me and 100 pounds on me, and my arm would be broken or dislocated. And they'd be like, my mom, look at her. She thinks she's as big as them. So there was this whole I was dealt with doctors a lot. I was dealing with them. So I thought I wanted to be one, right? Fast forward to college, I broke my back in a collegiate soccer game, broke L5, herniated a couple discs.
How did that happen? Just a collision?
I scored a lot, let me tell you that. I don't know. So I ended up in the hospital that night with a concussion.
I've seen from women's soccer, just from the social media highlights, is they're way meaner to each other than the guys
It's
are.
so aggressive. We are so physical. There's grabbing, punching, throwing. We hide it all.
Yeah.
I hit the goal post. I used to do a lot of headers because I'm almost 6 feet tall. So on a goal, I hit my head, but I continued playing. I didn't know it was as bad as it was until that night, and I was throwing up and I had a concussion. So, and then anyway, we didn't know it was broken until a while. My legs went numb and I was semi-paralyzed for a while. So through that process of dealing with paralysis, hospitalization, traction, my thyroid then crashed. All I knew is I was slow, tired, dumb, fat, and I just kept trying to push it.
You're fat.
I gained so much weight, right? Because my thyroid crashed, but nobody knew this. I kept thinking I had mono because I'd had mono in high school.
This is high school time.
This is college, 19, 20
Okay.
years old, right? So through that process of going to the clinic all the time, going to doctors, after about a year, like nobody was helping me, but I was still getting adjusted. I started seeing a chiropractor at 16. And through that process, it was him that was like, have they checked your thyroid? So I don't know what they're doing. He's like, you sound hypothyroid. Like, this is a problem. This isn't, you sleep 20 hours a day. You can't do math anymore. You're depressed. I'm fat. I'm trying to work out. So it was him saying that, making me go, can you guys run thyroid labs? Oh, sure. And they ran, oh yeah, you're hypothyroid. Here's some, synthroid.
And what does hypothyroid mean?
The thyroid gland was not working as well as it should. So I wasn't producing as much thyroid hormone, right? Sometimes it can mean the receptors aren't good, but I officially didn't have enough.
Like my mom had a thyroid issue, but that meant that she would gain weight.
Correct. I gained weight. So if it doesn't work enough, the thyroid controls your metabolism. It completely actually
shuts things down.
And it controls your cognition. Thyroid is controlling IQ. So if a mother is deficient in thyroid hormones when she's pregnant, her child will not be as intelligent. Women with really good thyroid hormones and iodine when they're pregnant, side note, you want to have that, you'll have a very intelligent baby.
She must have had amazing thyroid.
She had so much iodine, so much free T3. Eric, I don't know what to do about your mom and you. So it was my disappointment with their philosophy, but I still thought I was going to medical school. But I was pissed off and thought they were stupid at the same time. But it was, I'll be better. I'll be better. But getting adjusted. And I was working in a mental hospital with schizophrenics, helping getting them into group homes after I graduated, because I really didn't know if I wanted to go to medical school to devote 8 years of my life to becoming kind of a really cocky, arrogant, masculine surgeon. And that was the game I knew I'd have to play. This was the 90s, and my professors were amazing. They were like, you're going to be you could be an orthopedic surgeon. Not many women can. You're tall. You're strong. You can leverage it, because orthopedic surgery is like mechanics and drills, and you have to be big and working on athletes. And my bio professor,
it's more carpentry.
Yes. He's like, you can do it. And you're going to make millions. And then my psychology professors, because I was double majoring in that, were like, you should be a child psychiatrist because you're so interested in this, and all these crack babies are going to need drugs. And I just kept taking psychology because the psyche fascinated me. So I was kind of debating between what to do. And I kind of had this existential crisis but I don't want to be competitive. I don't want to be like, I want to have children one day. Do I really want to be attached to a beeper? And I was trying to figure it out. So I was working in a mental hospital. I took a little bit of time to see what I wanted to do. And I was working with schizophrenics.
And mental hospitals have kind of gone by the wayside, haven't they?
They shut them they've all shut them down in Detroit, where I was.
And now they're all on the street.
They're all on the streets. It was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. And it's just getting worse and worse. At least 35% of all the homeless are schizophrenics.
Sure.
So it was that experience of watching the drugging up, the zombifying, the sheer hopelessness, the orderlies raping the women like in extraordinary, the feeling of being in there was so repugnant.
Wow.
And you'd read the case studies and every day I was in tears. Now, luckily I had the job of taking the women that were doing really well and getting them into group homes in the community. So it was super great and rewarding. That had 24/7 staff. But it was through that, watching that process, that I said, I can't do this. This got to be something different. And in a conversation with my chiropractor, Dr. Keith Khalil, who's still practicing in East Point, Michigan, shout out. It was after, even though he'd been adjusting me for years, I just kept going for pain. It hurt my back and the paralyzed, whatever, put me in traction, so the surgeons say, you're never going to run again and you're not going to play again. I'm like, you can do, F to the U. Thankfully I was a teenager with a lot of FU in me, and I'm going to do whatever I want. So
a teenager. Yeah. It looks like that's really left you.
I use it for good now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it was an aha moment. I said, so the schizophrenics need to be adjusted. He goes, yes. So I understood it in terms of the psyche of what was happening through the brain, neurology, and the lens of perception we were having. And if your view in your brain was distorted through misalignments of your nervous system, you couldn't get information in correctly. You couldn't process it correctly. And you certainly couldn't have a good output with other people in the world. So I went to school to help schizophrenics, drug addicts, alcoholics. And in my naivete, I wanted to help get men out of prison because that's where my father was. So in a way, everything I've done.
What happened with your dad? What was the story?
He robbed a bank when my mom was pregnant with me. So a lot of shit happened to me when I was a little couple cells, right? So, my mom, and
thought it was a good idea to rob a bank.
Yeah. Well, my uncle was robbing banks. So there was a little bit of a bank robbing gang in the family. And so my dad was
the old Detroit bank robbery.
Yes, there are articles about it. So yeah, armed robbery, federal crime. So he went to prison. My mom was pregnant with me. Hence the beginning of some of my money trauma that I've worked diligently to heal. Yeah.
How long was he in prison?
Pretty much my whole life. So he got out on parole when I was like 8. He was home for 9 months. It was like the greatest 9 months of my life. But he got out 5 or 6 years ago. And, he died 8 weeks ago, I think. 6, 7, 8 weeks. It's a little bit of a blur.
So hold on. He got out.
He got about 5. I think
he got out when you were 9.
For 7.5 to 8.5, he was home. Less than a year.
Less than a year, and then
he broke parole.
And then he broke parole and went back in.
Yeah, multiple life sentences after that.
Multiple life sentences.
Yeah.
So it must have been a bigger thing.
So that was a tricky thing. And then once he went back,
get as personal as you want to get.
Oh boy.
I just find it interesting.
Yeah. That was a rough night.
It shapes us.
It was a rough night. Men getting out of prison, he came home and my mother was the boss for sure. She kept our relationship with him amazing. We would visit. I grew up visiting him in prison, but coming home, trying to get a job, trying to do whatever. Clearly he wasn't very functional out there. He was drinking too much. My mom was always working. That was a bad night. He got drunk and there was some stuff that night. So he ended up passed out on a neighbor's lawn, drunk. He was convicted actually of a sex crime. None of us believe he did it. Neighbors told it, but it was tough. And then once he got inside of there, so that brought a lot of woof to the family. And I think 5 or 6 months later, my mom, she had to leave. We had to leave the neighborhood. But once he was inside, he would try to escape a lot. And that's another 20 years. So a life sentence is 20 years. So he had multiple life sentences, not natural life. Life is 20. So, but by some crazy, bizarre miracle, I got a phone call one day in my office. My office manager pulled me out of a meeting and she goes, there's a warden, there's a guy from a parole officer or whatever, from Washington, D.C. or wherever. I'm like, what? I'm like, I have your dad and there's been a mistake. he's in DC or New York or whatever. He's free. He's on parole, but he's supposed to be in Michigan. So long story short, we had this crazy, and I just hit my knees. I fell to crying because I just.
So you had a strong relationship with your dad.
Very strong. My dad wrote, and yes, I absolutely love my father. Very strong relationship. And it says everything about my mother and him, that all 4 of his children have strong relationships with him. I would probably be the tightest. I'm the most like him. He was a tight end for USC, full ride, but he was recruited in prison. So he was a teenager in prison. And he got like the Burt Reynolds movies, like how they play, they come and say, we got this boy you need to come see, But he liked to fight too much. He liked it. It was fun. He should have been a fighter, a boxer in MMA. Now, today's world, you can make money doing that. Back then, he just liked to. I watched him break a man's jaw with an open hand. We used to go hustle pool. And the guy said something inappropriate to me. I don't really know exactly what happened, but I saw him throw a pool table and nobody flinched. It was like, yeah, take that. This is back then in the 80s or the late 70s or whatever it was. It was like, yeah, you don't talk to a little girl like that. Get that bum out of here. And my dad went back to drinking his beer. And I just looked at, he's like, just don't tell your mother. Okay.
So he got out recently?
So it was, I think he was 6 years ago. It was 5 or 6. I'm not great with time.
And then
he was back in Michigan. Yep. So he came.
And then passed away.
He just finally died. Yeah.
Early.
He was 80 and he had smoked, cigarettes. They gave you free cigarettes.
A full life.
He had emphysema, COPD, was on oxygen. He was ready. And it was one of the most gracious. Like he just, I was like, all right, Daddy, so you tell me, what is it you want? He goes, honey, I'm good. I want nothing. I said, well, are you in pain? And he's like, no. I said, so Daddy, I'm going to be clear. If they say it's cancer, if they say this, Stephanie, this is what happens. I want things to take their natural course. I've lived a long life. I'm good. So.
What'd that do to you?
I'm good. I mean, I miss my dad. I'm proud of how he handled it.
Yeah.
But
it's fresh.
Yeah. I mean,
Still fresh.
Yeah. It's not even 2 months, I don't think. We haven't even spread his ashes. That's my family is waiting for me and my schedule. He wants to be spread in the Detroit River and us to place Bob Seger. And I forget who else. I'm like, all right, what do you want? Tell us what you want. I mean, and the last thing he said to me, I said, I love you. And he said, I love you. I'll see you later.
You believe that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and it was so good.
You believe there's something else?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we have an idea what it is?
No. I don't know if it's just I'm going to split through a portal in the ether and be like, oh, hey, what's up? You guys are here. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to wake up. I'm kind of leaning towards simulation theory at this point. Like this
has to be, right?
Like this is the complete simulation. This is nothing but code. You and I are plugged in somewhere. We're going to come out and go, can you believe? I'm like, you were a dude? I was a woman? Like, we're just going to be like, this is the most hilarious thing. Can you believe they fell for it? Like, I don't know if this is taking us 5 minutes or 5 hours.
Yeah, who knows?
But the more I look at it, there's too many mathematical synchronicities that cannot be a coincidence. So I lean very strong to where this is a construct and everything here, the glitches you see, deja vu, it's a glitch in the matrix,
Yeah.
I lean towards that. Like we don't die. We're just going to wake up somewhere else and go, holy
crap. Like the soul
crap.
Continues somehow.
Yeah. Well, it's
or the essence of us.
This is just
the
all
code.
Fake. This is not even real. We're somewhere else, like a game, like a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've there's an awful lot of that lately. That multiverse, all this stuff. If you assume any level of improvement to artificial intelligence like it is now, if that happened at some point in the past, in any other civilization, at any growth rate, all the lines are going to blur between what's reality and what's.
Mm-hmm. I think it's already happened. I think we just get it's just a reset.
We're either base reality right now,
yeah,
which is a 1 in a billion, or this is this is some sort of repeat
Mm-hmm.
or a program.
The construct told you it's a
And there might be some free will inside the program.
Yeah.
Probably is some free will.
There is. And it's like, I look at it like maybe it is some type of test. Like, let's see, can you really be, or do you really qualify? We're going to put you there. Let's see what kind of choices you make. Do you qualify? You know, like the Navy SEALs do things. Like people, we put people through hard challenges to see how they respond.
Did you ever see the movie Defending Your Life?
No.
It's Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep, where Albert Brooks is kind of a neurotic guy, and he gets hit by a bus and he dies. He wakes up in Judgment City. And in Judgment City, you get judged based upon the life that you lived. You go through a little trial. And if you faced your fear, then you move on. If not, they send you back.
Right.
And you do it again. You know, and apparently he'd been there like 27 times.
Or 2,700.
And Meryl Streep had been there once. You know, she was like this perfect little soul getting ready to move on. And he was trying to face his fear. Anyway, great movie. And part of me thinks we're here to do something to graduate or repeat.
Yeah.
You know, because I think we're part of repeating patterns. I think there's so much in our repeating patterns that are interesting that if we don't change that programming, we're just going to keep repeating it over and over and over and over, calling it different things, bad luck.
I think genius and intelligence or whatever we call it is the ability to perceive the patterns. How quickly
high level of awareness.
How can you recognize a pattern like in yourself and other people in the construct and then do something about it?
Yeah.
Change it, shift it, extrapolate it, maximize it, leverage it. Pattern recognition is everything.
Right.
It's one of that's why I like psychology so much. It's all pattern recognition.
See, I looked at psychology. First of all, I wasn't smart enough in formal education to go to a college that was worth a psychology degree. Because formal education annoyed me to no end. Like 30 minutes of this topic, 30 minutes of this topic, 30 minutes of this topic, 30 minutes of this topic. And you could never get any traction. At least my brain couldn't get traction. If it was 3 months of mathematics, 3 months of science, 3 months of history, 3 months of language, those types of things, I think I'd have been fine. I think I'd have been, got enough traction, got my feet under me, figured it out, got a base. But it wasn't that. It was just these little bite-sized things so I never felt like I got traction, so I checked out. Right? But I thought about, because I was always interested in human nature, so I thought about psychology. But a couple things. One is, it took a long time to get a psychology degree. It's like 10 years or something. That was one. Second thing is, they didn't make much money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, long time, not much money. That doesn't seem like a good formula. Third thing is, you're around negative, complaining people all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're around negative, complaining people all the time, they're going to rub off on you. And eventually, you might become one of those negative, complaining people.
Look at your pattern recognition. Look how good you are at that.
Right?
Yeah.
So that all went through my head. And at the same time, I had a friend of mine who was older than me, but my dad had started this like summer camp thing in Minnesota. We moved from Michigan to Minnesota, and there was a guy there who was maybe 10 years older than me, and he was just kind of, like a buddy friend, and he went crazy. He fell in love with a girl. Girl broke up with him. It was his first girlfriend he ever had. And he just didn't sleep for like 6 days straight.
That'll do it.
And they tried every kind of medication. He still stayed awake until his brain let loose. So they checked him into a mental hospital, and I went and visited him in the mental hospital. And that, as a teenager, was impactful because it was worse than One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, it was truly checked out, very troubled or mentally gone people. And he never fully recovered from his break when he broke. I saw him years later. He was mowing a lawn at a church. And I pulled over to the side of the road. And, John, he looked at me and he was scared when he saw me. I'm like, why are you scared? I'm not supposed to be talking to you. Like, okay, you don't need to talk to me. I mean, I just hope you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine. But he was acting crazy, mowing the lawn. But yeah. So anyway, that's why I didn't get into that. But what's funny is most of what I do is psychology.
Yeah. I'm like, you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get to go deep. You like to go deep.
Yeah.
And
counseling,
you get to,
look at breakthroughs,
mindset,
interventions.
It's all personal development.
Helping people find patterns.
You're helping them find the greatness within themselves and then teaching them to find it in another person. What do you think a therapist does?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
a good one.
Repeating patterns. Yeah. There's the other thing I realize is most of those counselors, quote unquote, whatever they're going to call them, are so bad.
Yeah.
You ever been to a relationship counselor that's bad, or a personal counselor that's bad? Man, are they bad?
They're bad. I think their business model, I dated many, they just keep them coming forever. I was like, so that's your plan?
And most of them literally just say whatever the other person wants to hear so they keep coming back.
Yeah, that's the plan.
It's
not to get better, but to keep coming.
It's ugly.
I know.
I hate that plan.
I know. I do too.
So talk to me about chiropractic, because there are some different cases when it comes to public perception on chiropractic.
Sure.
You know, some people are like, swear by it. Now, I think there's a difference between holistic approaches to life and chiropractic crack your bones.
Sure. You could put us in two categories. So if you're going to come into our world and use our subculture terms, you have the mechanist and the vitalist. So the mechanistic in healthcare, the whole mechanistic group is like you're a sum of your parts. That's medicine for sure. There's a subculture of chiropractors who want to be second-rate physicians, right? So those are...
Oh, this is happening, so you must be having gut health. Or this is happening, or so you must be having this issue.
No. It's worse than that. Oh. They're the back, neck pain, ambulance chasing, PI people. Now, again, I like that there's personal injury chiropractors out there. I never did it. I never took insurance. I still don't take insurance. I've never taken insurance a day in my life. I'm cash.
Is that a bad thing?
To take insurance? Yes.
Why?
Because you're taking a contract with the devil, basically. I'm taking a contract with, you made an agreement with your insurance company, not me. So they're not going to tell me what I'm going to do to you. I'm in charge of your care plan.
And you can say whatever you want on the podcast.
You know what I'm saying? So I know, but I'm saying, that's giving you an idea. I don't honor that contract you made. That was your decision.
Okay.
That I will not be beholden to an insurance company. If you take insurance, they're telling you what to do as a doctor. You're making care plan decisions based upon how many visits you're going to get, what you're going to be reimbursed for. That is not how I want to work. That is not how you get people well. And I get people well. I don't teach them to cope with a problem. I'm getting rid of it.
Right.
So you have this mechanistic world, and you have the vitalists, the people like me who believe you are greater than the sum of your parts. And we have some catchphrase like the power that made the body heals the body. There is something bigger and better and stronger within you. I don't know what that is. You want to call it God, you want to call it spirit, you want to call it source, you want to call it the matrix, universal intelligence. I don't know, but we still don't understand how the body makes a scab. 100% we don't get it. We don't know how a butterfly is made from a caterpillar, goes into goop and does it. Our science cannot answer some of these questions. There is some wondrous magic involved with some of this, right?
Really, there's no answers to that. There's got to be answers.
No.
To those questions.
No,
those questions are
we
not
cannot
answered
reproduce.
currently.
We do not understand fully how the body even makes a scab. We understand DC current is created. We have some basic concepts, but we can't reproduce it. We can't program it.
The blood congeals and
It's
it
so
hardens.
much more. Listen, that's really cute. I know you think less is more, but not when it comes to that. No, it's not. So I'm saying, so the
I'm
vitalists,
just trying to see what,
so the vitalists are coming from, there's an additional substance, a formless substance, a spirit, a soul, a something. Okay. I'm just giving you an idea. So we go through this concept, even if you talk about the nervous system is a master control system. And if it's not functioning right, nothing is going to function right. Your hormones won't work. Your stomach won't work. Your mental health won't work if your nervous system isn't working well. Well, the only reason we touch your head and your spine is because the central nervous system is housed in bony material. It is the most important thing in your body. So your body said, I'm going to put the hardest stuff, bones, a skull, and vertebrae around the central nervous system because I can't afford to have this damaged. You don't have that much protection of your vital organs. The ribs are not really that.
How about like
strong.
your feet feel like it's a big deal in the body?
What do you mean? Hang on. Let me just finish this.
All right, finish it.
So you have this group like that. So we call them sometimes mixers and straights. So the straight people in chiropractic just adjust the bones, and we talk about nervous system. It's all nervous system. We're doctors of the nervous system. We aren't bone doctors. The back pain people picked up on that because it's marketing. It's like just
you're in pain, I'll get you out of pain.
Correct. So headaches, back pain, whatever. So they like a churn and burn type of practice. Just people in acute situations, you take them from acute care, get them out of that, you give them some relief, and sometimes some of the chronic. We're looking at, yes, I can handle the acute, but my job is to teach you why this is important for the rest of your life. Don't brush your teeth once or twice. Let me teach you how to do it forever. So it's a very different system. Now you also have a whole lot of us who, again, I was a therapist before I became a chiropractor, so I can't ignore what I know about the psyche. And my focus is on schizophrenia, bipolar, and autism. And a lot of us study functional medicine. And the reason we've had to do it, it's not, some of us, we like it, we're into it. So we do genetic testing and lab testing. I do all of those things. It's because our patients were coming in getting no quality care with their pediatrician or their other PCP, their psychiatrist. They're coming in misdiagnosed, mismedicated, and having problems. So I have to spend most of my time realizing 40% of all the children in my office that come in with an ADHD diagnosis put on a dangerous prescriptive addictive drug don't have ADHD at all. They have anxiety. 40% of them have that, and 30% of them have an auditory processing disorder.
Where's the anxiety coming from?
Brain inflammation, metabolic chaos, brain inflammatory disorder. It's high beta waves.
How much is it from this?
Well, that's a whole nother. So digital addiction is a new thing.
I'm holding my phone.
So the phone, digital addiction, and high EMF that's coming off of there, actually it does drive. So the non-native EMF, the TVs in your house, the computers, the
screen time.
And screen time is one of the most toxic. I've been teaching on this for 17 years. There was never a screen allowed in my office. No patient, no child can ever be holding or touching a phone, an iPad, or a Kindle. Every child must have the phone.
Does it bother you that I have my screen on the table?
No, it doesn't at all because you're not touching it.
Right.
You know, but if it was on your crotch, I'd be like, oh my God, save the family jewels, get it off your body. I go insane when I see it. It's addictive. Japan they're the first place that started rehab centers just for digital addiction. Japan is in such a fertility crisis. They're offering $10,000 per family per child. Nobody wants to have sex. They don't even want to. They're so addicted. This is where the whole starting, in Japan and Asian cultures, that's why they're falling in love with their phones.
Population collapse everywhere.
Correct. So that causes anxiety, that causes attention deficit, it causes a number of things because it modulates brainwave activity. I'm also board certified in neurofeedback. So I look at brains.
Do you think that the companies know this?
They 100% know
it. Like the TikToks of the world are trying to make America dumber.
I think it's deeper, even the color of the screen. So the blue light that's coming off, they made a business decision to make it a highly toxic color that lowers hormones and lowers cognition. They know exactly what they're doing because they could have built it all with a different color with the orange and the red. They did something intentional. Nobody is this stupid. Educate. We know. If you look at the American, you talked about school, the American educational system and the way it's done, they do everything in opposition to neurodevelopmental biology. We know how the brain develops. We know where the timeline is. We know the things required for the body to do to learn to read, let's say. And we force a child to do everything exactly the opposite. And we are creating ADHD, we are creating dyslexia, you are creating anxiety disorders from the way you treat the child at home, from what you're feeding them, the way you put a TV in front of them, the way I almost lose it, Eric. Every time I see a baby holding like a phone.
A tablet at dinner.
Yeah. I mean.
It's a babysitter.
The amount of, it's an alcoholic. You just gave that child a beer. You turned him into an addict. It is deep physiological damage. That's what people don't seem to understand. It's beyond a babysitter. It is deeply damaging the brain.
Is it not just the same thing as my parents saying, hey, you don't sit so close to your television and all that stuff? Isn't it this generation's version of that?
Well, that wasn't as damaging. So again, light matters. Watching, if we go to a movie theater and you have a projector behind you and the way that light is going on the screen, it's reflecting back to you. That is a completely different, light is information. And by the way, food is just captured light. Okay. So the quality of light that comes into your body in every way, shape, or form is what is determining your health more than the food you're eating. The food is just a form of light. So these lights in this room are slowly killing both of us right now. So I'm going to have to take some peptides to clean my mitochondria up after this whole nightmare. You just gave me like wrinkles.
We got red light right in the next room. We're good.
Well, listen, you don't want to keep scraping and put a salve on it. I prefer you don't scrape in the first place. But I know we need lights. I know we need good lights for this. So there's a price you pay though to produce the quality of education that you do, that people pay to be under lights to film. And so you do have to do those extreme things like red light therapy and cold plunging to counteract it.
Right.
Now, I'll have to say it is different. That light reflects and it's in a way that your brain can process it and it doesn't cause the same problems versus looking at a screen. And the TVs we were looking at as children were of a different quality light bulb. They were not the same and they did not have the same flicker rate. We all know the light, we've seen movies that say warning about a seizure. The lights can flicker and you may
think the social media companies are all in on it to mentally enslave the population?
Yes.
That might be a little
I don't know.
oversaid.
It's not like the guy and the woman in the cubicle are involved, but is it at a high level? Do they understand light? How it's caused?
Same thing as the tobacco companies.
Correct.
Addicting people.
Correct. They knew what they were doing to formulate. Nicotine isn't the problem. Nicotine is a superfood. Nicotine heals you. Nicotine is good for you. Nicotine is a vagus nerve.
Those Zins are good for you?
I don't know what that is.
Those little pouches that are just straight nicotine?
I don't really know what the dose is, but nicotine is one of the strongest vagus nerve stimulators to relax a person on earth.
Vagus nerve, like vasovagal?
No. So the vagus nerve is a cranial nerve 10.
Okay.
It is the most dominant. Do you like this stuff? Because I'm like, it's all science stuff.
I have vasovagal syndrome.
Okay, then you need to strengthen your vagus nerve, and your cold plunge is doing that. Lots of things improve the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a cranial nerve that comes out. It is a parasympathetic, which is a rest, digest, heal nerve. You should be 90 to 100% kind of parasympathetic all the time. The sympathetic fight or flight should only come on in times of life or death. Unfortunately, it's on all the time.
Mine's random. My vasovagal.
Oh, yeah. No, hang on. So you have to keep strengthening. Has it been getting better since you've been?
No, I can recognize it.
Okay.
So I've had it probably.
And do you have Meniere's by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
they're related.
It was long before that.
Yeah. Well, it's related. That's why.
So I'll just all of a sudden
Yeah.
my blood sugar or whatever, blood pressure will just drop like a rock.
Yeah.
And I'll feel super sweaty. I'll feel nauseous. I'll feel like I need to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to sit down. Cold sweats, the whole thing. I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it in my body. And I just need to lay down and put my feet up. If I lay down and put my feet up and kind of clench my body and just bring the blood pressure back up, depending on how quickly I catch it, it's 5 minutes. If I catch it slow, it's longer than that. If I don't catch it, I pass out.
Yeah.
And I've passed out all over the world.
Yeah.
A dozen times for no reason. First time that I remember it happening, I was at dinner, and we're in a dark, dimly lit dinner with my brother and sister-in-law, and I'm having salad, and I'm like, I need to go get some air. I'll be back. So I go leave, and I go into the bathroom, splash some water on my face, and I'm like, I need to lay down like right now, like on the bathroom floor, not the most hygienic place, right? So I lay down, and I'm like, I hope my brother-in-law comes in at some point, and it seems like, 5-10 minutes, whatever. He comes walking in, and you're like, you okay? And I get up, I think I'm all right. And I splash water on my face again, step outside for a second, and go back, sit down, finish the meal. Valet comes to pick us up after. I go to get in the car. I'm like, ow. And like, I had this big, huge, like my hip hurt. And now that the lights were on outside, I had a big knot on the top of my head. And I hadn't voluntarily laid down.
Oh.
I'd gone down. Didn't even remember.
You didn't know it. Yeah.
Went down like a sack of bricks. Just boom. So that's happened, a dozen times.
Yeah.
On airplanes, out of the blue, airplanes are the worst because there's no place to go. It's just like you're going to lay on the floor and put your feet up in the aisle. It's a tough one, but the doctors say there's really nothing to do other than recognize it, which I do now.
That's not really true. It's you're talking about the switch between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. And so you do a lot of sympathetic training. So has there been a decrease in it since you've started getting more fit?
I don't know the answer to that question. Okay. I do know that in the past 5 years, since I recognize it, I can recognize it very, very, very early now. I feel just a tingle or a little bit of cold sweat, and I can tell it's coming. And I go, that's not that. That's this. And I lay down and I put my feet up, and then I'm good. So that's
yeah. Well, I mean,
and I've gone to the best.
That's increased
I've
body
gone to
awareness.
Mayo. I've gone to Cooper Clinic.
I would challenge. I don't think that's the best.
I know. I'm just telling you.
I'll give you a couple
specialists.
names of some functional neurologists.
Yeah.
That they're not going to be at Mayo. They're not going to be at Hopkins. They're not going to be found in a hospital.
So where you been?
I'm sorry. What now?
What hospitals have you been? John Hopkins. Whatever.
Well, I'm saying John Hopkins or those. I think what we think of as the best is a fallacy to begin with. And the metric, the Mayo Clinic's own self-assessed successful diagnostic rate is 30%. They're supposedly the best diagnosis place in the world, and they're not good at it. They know they're not good at it. So I'm going to suggest you really haven't seen the best because they're usually hiding.
The best I knew.
Correct.
Right?
Most of the good people are hiding and don't want you to know about them. And it's all very strong. Like the guy who trained me for 25 years, you couldn't find him. But when other doctors knew that they're like, you see the Wizard of Woodstock? Mm-hmm. This guy, no website, no business cards. He wasn't trying to advertise, but because he'd been doing what he'd been doing for 35, 40 years, everybody knew about it. And every doctor in Atlanta refers to him. I remember the first week I started there, somebody walked in with her knee in a bag. I went, he's just like, well, here it is from the surgery. And then he analyzed it and did something. The stuff he did They don't teach you at school. You don't know what that is. You just have these genius clinicians that are out there doing things, and they're like, "Shh, I don't need anybody to know about it." They don't want the FDA to know. We don't want the CDC to know. You don't want anybody to know what you're doing, because if you're too good at what you do and you are helping people,
you're a threat. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say the word cure.
Yeah, nobody is.
But that should tell you that's the ultimate gaslighting right there. How do I create hopelessness? Never allow a single doctor to say the word cure.
Yeah.
That's gaslighting everybody.
What I've learned now at this stage of my life is anti-aging and longevity and health span specialists on one side.
Mm-hmm.
And the other side is like a concierge doctor that can take care of like, penicillin or,
right.
And
you'll find that the longevity space that,
but don't listen to doctors when it comes to anything other than like a broken bone.
Yeah. Trauma is trauma. Go deal with the trauma.
Yeah.
It's a surgery. And that group is, the biohackers. You're going to find people who have like no degrees are better than people with 7 degrees.
I'm in love with the biohackers.
Yeah. Like you're going to find,
I love them all.
We know more about it because you're like, we've actually,
and I'm taking everything, man. I'm doing it all. I'm getting a what's it called? Hyperbaric chamber.
Oh, fun.
Is that a smart thing?
Yes, it is. I've done it a lot. Yeah. It's better to have one in your house for sure. Yeah.
So I've got red light therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got infrared sauna.
Mm-hmm.
I've got cold plunge.
Mm-hmm.
I've got oxygen therapy.
Mm-hmm. Hydrogen yet? I brought my hydrogen machine with me.
I have a hydrogen water bottle.
No.
But it seems like that's not the real deal.
No.
It seems like it's a bit of a party trick.
It is.
The bubbles coming
you
up.
Get a little, most people are getting scammed. So hydrogen's, it's in my hotel. I brought it with me. I brought two
a real hydrogen machine?
Hydrogen inhalation, yes. I should have brought it with me.
Like
I brought 3 biohacking devices with me.
Than Kangen and
correct. So Kangen's, the benefits, so Kangen is an overpriced, low quality hydrogen water. That's what it is. So there's alkaline water is a scam. They're marketing. Don't disrespect anybody. I don't care. It is what it is. Alkaline water is stupid. That doesn't make any sense. The stomach
I've heard
pH
that
supposed to
from
be 2.5.
All the longevity guys
it's
say
a
alkaline
scam,
water is,
but
hydrogen water isn't.
Kangen water is hydrogen water, but it's just super low parts per million, and you're paying way too much money.
So you need a medical grade hydrogen water system.
So no. There's drinking hydrogen.
Yes.
There's inhaling hydrogen. They're not the same thing.
Which is better?
Inhaling.
Really?
100%.
So you inhale hydrogen while you're laying in a red light therapy bed or something?
You can do that,
so
yes.
You can stack it?
I do that every day. I didn't bring my red light panel with me. I have 5. And one is small enough to go, but I brought a red light, a V light that goes up my nose. So I have the V light up my nose while I'm on a PEMF and terahertz machine on my feet.
Got that.
While I'm on.
And I just got a sleep 8 machine. Have you heard of sleep 8?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a thing that goes on your bed that measures everything, regulates temperature.
Oh no, Eric! Listen, I'm going to tear that thing a new asshole. It's horrible.
I don't
What's
think
the
so.
EMF coming off on it?
I don't think so.
Did you test the EMF?
You look up sleep 8 and then you tell me.
I'm going to look it up. Okay, but see, this is where I'm at. I love the technology.
And it's on top of my PEMF mat. It's both.
Okay. That's just very disconnected from nature. I don't understand
I'm
just going to tell you most things.
Just check first.
Most things on the
and
bed.
Then tell me.
I'm going to check it. But like a sleep number bed, the most dangerous bed a person can buy.
I agree.
I know you're not buying. I know it's not what you're saying. I'm going to look it up. I used to use the Earth Pulse. That's the greatest sleep PEMF. I still sleep on it every night, but you can't get them anymore. And they were like the greatest PEMF for sleep. And they were $500-$600. But the COVID took that guy out of business. So I'll look it up. I don't like any of those things.
What are the biohacking things that you like? What are your favorites? What do you think actually works the best?
Well, it depends.
For health span, lifespan, longevity.
Sauna. So infrared sauna.
Infrared sauna is way up there.
It's super way up there. It's easy for people.
Like I'm 4 or 5 times a week.
Correct. That
40 minutes.
You could do it less, but yes, but
I can do less.
it depends on.
It takes so long to heat it up.
See, that's because you have the wrong. You don't have mine. I have a better one.
Shut up.
Mine is a Faraday cage. So there's also plasma ions, a Faraday cage. There's no non-native EMF getting in. Your phone won't work inside of it. It's a grounding mat, right? Also with plasma electrons, ions hitting you.
Can you lay down in it?
You can. And it's all infrared light bulbs. It's near, middle, and far, but it's mostly the near because it's external bulbs. I want to say 4,000 or 6,000. When I bought it, it was only $800. I know it's awful, but she's more. It's an American engineer. She makes them here, and she's an incredible lady out of Washington.
Send me the information.
I'll send it to you. It's 20 minutes.
It takes forever.
It takes 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And I know. I threw out my sunlight, and I had a $6,000 sunlight. I got rid of it.
And the max temperature I can get is 158 degrees.
Yeah, no, I don't do it that way. This heats you.
How hot do you get?
I don't measure it. I don't have to because the bulbs are heating me up from the inside.
I understand.
I don't know.
I'm heated
I
up
used
too
to keep
from the inside.
I used to keep a thermometer, and I don't anymore because you don't control it that way. It's not. There's no electricity. I have no electricity is running through this. It's external bulbs, and it's reflecting on a shield, and it heats up inside. It's completely different than what you're using. It's the best sauna on the market.
So I go in the sauna until my heart rate elevates about 15 degrees, and I stay there for about 10 minutes after that.
Okay. 10 beats per minute, you mean? Your heart rate? Yeah. So
I take my heart rate to about 125, 130 beats a minute, and then I leave it there for 10 minutes.
Right. It's a great workout. I tell people, I don't work out. I sit on my ass in the sauna.
Shut up.
I don't do any working out.
Shut up.
And you should see, I took a picture today. I'm like, I look stacked and jacked. It's all peptides, honey. I'm 50. If I took my gut, it's ridiculous. I don't do anything.
I don't believe you.
Peptides.
I don't believe you.
Pure peptides. I biohack. I infrared sauna.
If I biohacked, I would not be in the shape I'm in right now. I have to put weights around.
That's because you didn't hire me. I promise you.
You got to put on some lean muscle mass.
I put it on. You know what puts it on? Peptides, meat, mTOR. I eat a lot of meat. And listen, you and this crap, you can't eat enough protein. That's ridiculous.
200 grams of protein is a lot.
It's a steak.
It's not a steak.
Well, listen, I know. It's a lot. No,
200 grams is a lot.
Yes. I know. You have to eat more than I do.
Yeah.
I'm only 130 pounds.
I know. 130, piece of cake.
Yeah.
200, another game.
I get it.
I'm full all the time.
I know. It's hard when you're so ketotic. I know. When you're in ketosis, you aren't hungry, but just suck it up. You'll find a way. Just eat the steak. Okay? So infrared sauna, back to the questions. I love infrared sauna. I like heat and cold. I like temperature because that's bringing in. Now, people, it's not a biohack, but we're forgetting biohacking is taking technology to mimic nature. Mm-hmm. So just get your butt outside, stand in the grass, and look at the sun. Mm-hmm. Get sunlight. That's what the panels are for, right? The red light panels. Mm-hmm. Red light is sunlight. It's sunrise and sunset.
And sunlight is very bad for me because I spent too much time in the sun as a kid.
Well, that's another conversation. I don't want it. That's not true.
It is true. And here's why it's true. I managed a sun tanning business for 4 years. Suntan beds.
Well, that's not sunlight.
I understand. I'm just telling you, I got too much UV early in life. And because of that.
You got too much imbalance off unopposed UV light and non-native, you were being baked in electrical current.
Correct.
So yeah, that's different.
So every 3 months I got to go to the dermatologist and they got to, freeze stuff, cut stuff, biopsy stuff.
And again, because that's not sunlight.
Yeah.
That wasn't what the sun did not do that to you. That's artificial manipulation of something thinking we can do that.
But I do know fair-skinned people that grew up in higher altitudes, and because of that, they got to do the same thing I got to do. Every 3 to 6 months, they got to go in and.
That is okay. So I'm going to break up a myth. That is 100% a lie. Okay. The sun does not do that. The research is very clear right now. It's been published. I'm happy to send it to you after the show, and you can put it all in your notes.
Do it.
Okay. That is not true whatsoever. The sun does not do that. Okay, you can increase cellular stress, oxidative stress from the seed oils, the sugar, the alcohols, and everything else that somebody's doing. That's very different. But see how you extrapolated being in ultraviolet light tanning beds? You extrapolated that.
I
to
didn't
the sun.
extrapolate that.
Well, you just said I have to be careful. Well, okay, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, you didn't say the sun caused it. That's
No,
right.
no.
No, the sun does not cause cancer.
Right.
I can't say that loud enough.
Okay.
And I will send you everything on
so
it.
the people who bake in the sun, they just bake.
I bake in the
just
sun.
Crisp.
I bake, I'm crisp. What are they usually putting on their skin?
So it's that stuff.
And what are they usually eating and drinking when they do it?
Yeah.
So if I put on carcinogens, which all of the sunscreens have in there, and then I go in the sun and I'm baking it in with infrared heat and causing it, while internally I'm probably drinking Coors Light and Bud Light, you know what's happening, or Margaritaville time, right? How many people are drinking when they're out there? How many are having chips and salsa, potato chips, pretzels, corn dogs, everything else full of seed oils that are rancid and oxidizing them? So you're causing cancer. Cancer is a metabolic disease. It's an error in cellular metabolism. The sun that is giving life to all of us on this earth, this plane of existence, is not here to cause cancer. It's like saying when somebody says estrogen causes cancer, really, then every 15-year-old girl should have breast cancer. Estrogen does not cause cancer. That's another lie, right?
Hey there, just a quick interruption, especially for network marketers. Whether you're just starting out or if you're ready to level up, GoPro Academy has just what you need to take your network marketing business to the next level. Get step-by-step training on how to get started or restarted the right way, and then get everything you need to earn 6 figures or more and become a network marketing pro. To learn more, just visit goproacademy.com. I've helped millions of people learn how to recruit, tens of thousands of people to reach 6 figures, and I've personally helped more than 1,000 people achieve 7-figure incomes and above in network marketing. I can help you too. Head to goproacademy.com today, and I'll see you there. So walk me through. You're not passionate about this or anything. I can tell.
Which one? Oh boy, what? All of it. Yes.
All of it.
Yeah, because I'm so exhausted of the misinformation.
Right.
And people being afraid of the sun is going to heal you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and we're told it's the dangerous thing.
So walk me through, in your opinion, what is the best way to live? The longest, the healthiest, the most vibrant way when it comes to movement, hydration, sleep, nutrition?
I would move to wherever your mitochondrial haplotype genetically is designed to be.
What the hell does that mean?
And then I would get completely off grid and not live with people.
What's the mitochondria?
So the mitochondria are these bacteria. So we have 2 sets of DNA. We have human DNA that everybody's very familiar with, and that medicine is trying to tell you DNA is what causes disease. Oh, do you have ApoE4? You're going to get Alzheimer's. Not true. If you have BRCA, you get breast cancer. Not true, but they're trying to assign a gene with destiny. All right. That's human. We don't have a lot of those, actually. Mitochondria are these little bacteria that we brought into our bodies. They are not human. We were taught, you were probably taught maybe biology, the powerhouse of the cell. You heard that term?
Don't remember.
Okay. Well, mitochondria, people think of the powerhouse of the cell. They make ATP. They make all your energy. That's the thing we say. They're actually not human. They're a completely different DNA. Doug Wallace has done the most research on this, and it's unbelievable what he's been able to discover about it. They're completely different. That DNA of these bacteria, we have trillions upon trillions of them in us, and they're the most concentrated. So what needs the most energy in the body? The brain is number 1. Number 2 is the heart. Actually, I'm a little different than you. The number 1 source of the highest concentration of mitochondria are in the female egg. So my egg to make a baby has more mitochondria than anything because it needs more power than anything. But otherwise, it's the brain and the heart. Mitochondria are electromagnetic sensors. They literally pulse off electromagnetics. They give off light That's what causes the heat. Light is heat. And so they absorb it. So while you're in the red light, what are you doing? You're healing your mitochondria. The sun heals the mitochondria. It gives power to the cell through this other bug. So this human is a compilation of trillions of other life forms, actually, right? So the mitochondria come from your mother's line. So all the mitochondria from the sperm is thrown away. We don't need you. You're not relevant. It's the mother that we care of. This the cytoplasm. The egg has all the information. So my mitochondria have been passed down from all the women. So I'm an L1 haplotype. It starts at L0, which is deep Africa, right? So there's L1, L2, blah, blah. And so as the mitochondria spread all over the plane, it had to respond very quickly to the heat and the light signals of the sun. So equatorial people have a very different mitochondria than northern cold Vikings, let's say. My mitochondria do not respond the same way a Swedish woman's do at all. So we respond to heat and light very differently. My mitochondria, it means you can make a lot of ATP really fast, or you can make a lot of heat. I'm a sprinter. My mitochondria make a lot of energy. I move very quickly because I'm like a gazelle in Africa. All right.
No, you look like you could run a marathon right now.
No, well, the Kenyans are a weird group, but what it means is it means I don't generate a lot of heat, right? So I'm cold a lot and I need it to be warm. I need to be in warm temperatures. So me moving to Siberia is a terrible idea. But if you have a certain, so it makes, what I'm saying is the mitochondria need to be where they're supposed to be. I'm an African, I'm part black, I'm East Indian, and I'm white. But the white is my dad. The color is from the mother. So that's my mitochondria. No matter how light my skin has gotten over the years, we just get whiter with every marriage. My mitochondria are deep black, basically. Okay. They're deep African. So they need heat. They need to be near the equator. I'm a completely different person when I'm near the equator, when I'm in a lot of heat. I dated somebody who was a Viking, 100% genetics Viking, literally melting when it's 70. I can't handle the heat. I'm like, it's not even that hot. Can't go in the sauna, can't tolerate it, wanted to be cold all the time. I'm freezing when it gets under 60 degrees and I'm shaking and I need to put on 4 sweaters. So I'm saying is moving to where your body is really supposed to be, your mitochondrial genetics matter more. Most people say, oh, I'm Irish or I'm this. That's not as important as the mitochondria actually, because they're sensing.
How do you know how much to move?
DNA testing.
So your DNA is going to tell you how much you're supposed to move?
I'm sorry, moving. I'm sorry. No. The haplotype. So what it is, I'll tell you. So I exercise by explosive sprint. If I'm going to exercise, I just do burst training.
I have to exercise.
But your genetics tell you this.
It maybe, but just from plan to review, my connective tissue from just misuse or disuse over the years, sitting too much or just not moving enough or whatever, is just not connected the right way. So my glutes don't fire the way they're supposed to. My legs overcompensate, which affects my lower back, which affects this, which affects that, which affects the next thing.
It's all the fascia. Yeah.
So getting all the connective tissue working again requires a lot of movement. So I have to do all kinds of different movement just to get everything firing properly. Right. And then once it's firing properly, then I can go.
Right. That's just primal movement. So what I was saying is you should live where you're supposed to be living. So people kind of like this. Dark people probably need to be near the sun and white people need to be in the cold. It's that simple. You take an Indian and you put them in Detroit, they get fat and diabetic. They're not supposed to be there. It's the wrong environment. So where you live matters. So then I'm saying, you would just do.
Aren't you living in Detroit?
I live in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Detroit, and Atlanta is still too cold for me. I'm trying to move further south. I really need to move, and that's for real.
Where?
So movement.
Where's perfect?
Where's
perfect?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet for me. I like Mexico a lot.
Yeah.
I like Mexico a lot, though. I like that whole Cancun area.
Okay.
I like it a lot. I feel very good there.
Okay.
Yeah. The frequency is really nice for my system. So all that to say, that's a complicated version, but basically to keep it simple, you should be as close and connected to nature as possible. You should eat
So
like a
that's
human.
movement.
Well, that's primal movement. So basically,
eat like a human. What do you mean?
Let me just finish. Movement that encourages lymphatic flow and fascia movement. Walking. Walking is a very powerful and potent thing, but just movement, bending down, carrying things. Go back to actually doing stuff instead of paying everybody to do everything. It's really that simple.
I think movement while you're paying everybody to do everything is the best way to go.
Well, there you go. That's nice too. But, like simple things, just movement, playing. But if you had to pick something, I think anything that reorganizes the fascia, you're calling it connective tissue, it is fascia. So you look at fascial reorganization, there's a lot of primal movements that are out there now that kind of like when you're a child, when little kids just play and move like animals
Run
and
in
walk like a
circles.
donkey and do these like crab walk and all that kind of stuff. It's extraordinary stuff. So there's all these fun ways that adults have come up with these primal movements. So it's
So are you flexible?
Well, I'm hyper flexible actually.
See, if I had to touch my toes to save my family, they're all dying.
You need a little bit more fascial work.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of,
I'm
that's a
so
calcium
tight.
shell on you. Yeah.
I am so tight
I'm
from
tight
so
and
many
flexible
years.
at the same time. Yeah.
It's
It's because we're sitting. Look at what we're doing. Like it's just part of the
you know
motion.
the
what's happened.
house I live in.
Mm-hmm.
If you drove around the block, there's a lot of elevation. Just around the block.
Yeah.
Okay. It takes to walk it is 8 or 9 minutes. But it's straight uphill and straight downhill, essentially.
Okay.
So it's a nice lap,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the amount of trauma that I do to my calves and my hamstrings and everything else from trying to get around as many times as I can in an hour is extraordinary. For you, you'd probably be jogging it or running it. I'm like, nope. It's like if I can get around 8 times, that's a win. That's a huge win. But I'm going to be sore. Isn't that crazy?
No, it makes total sense.
But like lifting,
Yeah.
lifting now for the first year and a half of starting to change my body around.
Yeah.
I was injuring myself all the time.
Yeah.
And now I'm not.
Yeah.
Now I can go. I can go as hard as I need
Yeah.
to go. And I'm not risking injury.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, I'm not competing for anything. So
Yeah.
I don't need to go bananas with heavy stuff. I'll just go reps. But I can lift, which feels good.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
it does. We're meant to lift. Men are meant to lift heavy things. Like if you were out in nature, you'd be lifting heavy shit all the time.
Right.
That's your job. Go kill something, lift it up, bring it back. Thank
Right.
you. You know what I mean? Go cut something down, make a fire. We're meant to do physical work. And so women too, like these are just natural movements, but we've had to create working out, lifting weights, joining a gym.
See, I do that. And then I pay people to do the rest of the stuff.
I got you. I totally understand it.
So-
I get we're modern. That's what we have to do. But
we don't have to.
move
But
like a human.
that's what I choose to do.
A movement you may not be thinking of as movement is breathing.
Yeah.
That's one of the most powerful movements we have. The diaphragm is a muscle. And with
What's your
every
resting
breath,
heart rate?
between 40 and 55, depending. It was 30. It was 35 when I was in
depressing.
college.
Like what in the world?
I just have a very low. I just have that. I mean,
That's nuts.
that's just my way.
If I get in the 60s, I'm so happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Well, it's not 40.
Well,
to
let's say the
55.
controversial thing that nobody wants to hear. Eat like a human.
So talk to me about nutrition.
I'm a very pro carnivore diet.
So, but some people would say that we are built to be herbivores.
They're wrong.
Why?
So your stomach, you just look at the anatomy. The anatomy of
When they
physiology.
look at the teeth and stuff.
That's
it's
irrelevant.
Why?
Because you look at carnivores have teeth just like us. Let's look at what really matters, the digestive system. A ruminant and herbivores have a lot of stomachs and they have a completely different microbiome than we do. They can break down grass and they can break down plants and their bacteria can do something our bacteria cannot do. We do not have the capacity. Our stomach acid is 2.5 is the pH. That's extraordinarily acidic. It will rip holes through all of this. That is designed. The only other animals with a 2.5 pH are vultures, hyenas, scavengers. We were designed to, because look at us, we're not real tough. We can't take on an animal and do a whole lot to it. So we came along and had the scraps. It was already rotten. So just like those animals, they're eating what's left over from the kill. It's already rotten and bad. But if you have a stomach pH of 2.5, it doesn't matter. You're obliterating and killing everything. You're not going to get food poisoning. There's that. The size of our small intestine and our large intestine, which we call the hindgut, is exactly the same as every other obligate carnivore on Earth. Our anatomy is so much like that. That's what we're built for. Every single primal culture in the world, there isn't a single vegetarian natural living culture in existence. Ever, never has been. The oldest, longest living people, just so you know, all the blue zone information is a lie. That was manipulated data. That's as ridiculous as Ansel Keys' cholesterol myth. A lie, falsified, published research, manipulated and lie. The longest living group of people are in Siberia, in Russia. They live to 120, 140. They're getting pregnant at 60. They're carnivores. Now, that's not the main reason they live long. The big claim to fame of what the carnivore diet basically is. Now, hypercarnivore is 70% animal, and you can have up to 30% plant. So were they eating in some locations? Absolutely. But it was up to 200, 300 plants in an entire year. So they're eating very small amounts of something in a very medicinal way when they were starving because there were no animals in front of them. But in general, if there was plenty of food, the Inuits, the Eskimos, and the Altoons, and they don't eat there's nothing there but animals. And they're super fit.
You're carnivore.
Correct.
So how many grams, like you look like you burn a lot of calories.
I don't track any of that.
Naturally. I understand you don't track it because you don't have to track it.
Calories are a fake measure, so your body doesn't know what a calorie is.
It's not a fake measure.
It is a fake measure. So it's a measurement of how much heat a food burns off in a little machine. That is not what happens inside your body. That isn't remotely what happens.
Come on. You're telling me 3,600 calories is not a pound?
In a lab situation to burn that off. I burn off, that doesn't mean everybody's going to do the same thing. And we know it does take more, it takes energy. That's what you're calling a calorie, heat, a measure of heat unit. Again, the body doesn't know what a calorie is, so it doesn't care about that. It just knows it takes more thermal energy for my body to use and extract energy from protein than it does anything else. So protein puts you in what you want to call a caloric deficit because it's taking more calories, as you want to say, to burn it, to use it.
So
does that make sense?
The thermogenics is important.
Correct. So some people say protein is 4 calories a gram. It's actually 3. It's not true.
Making your body break down the food is important.
Making your body be able to efficiently extract energy, electrons from the food is very important. And how efficiently you do that determines everything about your health. Because everything
that have liquid
is your mitochondria.
It's
liquid diet. What is that? What do you mean?
You take liquid proteins or whatever.
That's a terrible idea. But
it's worse than the thermogenic. It takes away from the thermogenic effect.
Correct, right? So you're supposed to be chewing food. So one, you're bypassing all the normal processes of what's to happen. But back to one of the most powerful benefits of a high animal-based diet is the low toxicity. And one of the primary toxins inside of food is deuterium. Deuterium is an isotope of hydrogen. It's called heavy hydrogen, and it's super high in carbohydrates and sugars, and it breaks mitochondria, thereby breaking and impairing your ability to not only make energy but also make you're making all your own water inside your cells from mitochondria. The carnivore diet is a deuterium depleting diet. So all the biohackers understand deuterium depletion. What does your red light do? Depletes deuterium. What does sun do? Depletes deuterium. What's your sauna doing? Depleting deuterium. It is one of the most important things in health that no one's talking about. So why those people in Siberia live that long is because they're drinking deuterium depleted water. So deuterium is a whole nother subject on that subject of hydrogen. That's why hydrogen therapy inhalation is so potent. It's so powerful. We could do a whole thing just on hydrogen.
So talk to me about deuterium and hydrogen.
Okay. So you learned in school that there's like 3 phases of water.
I didn't learn anything in school.
Okay, most people learn.
The only thing that I learned in school was how to type.
Yeah, how to make money.
How to type. That's literally all I learned.
Wow, that's the class I cheated on because I can't type.
I mean, it's
terrible at it.
I'm so grateful that I learned how to type. The rest of it, I was just glad to be done.
I pay people to type.
So what the heck is deuterium?
All right. So most people think of water as having 3 phases, right? Liquid, ice, solid, gas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's more phases. There's actually at least 5. The 4th and the 5th phase are really fascinating. The 4th and the 5th phase are these very unique gel water that are inside of our bodies. And so we've not learned everything that we need to know about water and understanding it. And the other part is we think it's H2O. Well, it's not. There's H3O in there. Like, so you can have hydrogen is the beginning of the atomic table, right? It's the beginning of it. And so when it comes together with 2 of those in a water and oxygen, it makes this very interesting triangle shaped. The water molecule has a polarity, a shape to it that gives it structure. And when they cluster together, we get a very special structure. But it can cluster that there's an extra, so there's, electrons, protons.
I know the word.
Listen, I know. How do I say this? There's this extra little bead and it makes it heavy. So it has more mass. A deuterium is it's hydrogen, but heavier. Okay. So the mass has a little bit, it's like, oh.
And why is that good?
It's bad.
Oh, it's bad.
Because you know what it's like? So we run.
So you don't want deuterium.
No.
Deuterium
just
is
a
bad.
little bit. Not that it's bad. It naturally occurs in nature. Okay. And the system is allowed to, but when more comes
so you
in.
Want more hydrogen because hydrogen lowers the deuterium?
You want structured water that is low in deuterium. All right. And that is found in meat and water from cold places. So water up in the north, right? So the temperature of the water makes it. So the problem with living near the equator for a person like me.
People who like
it has high deuterium.
Room temperature water?
No, that's not. It's where it's sourced from the earth. It has nothing to do with, you can't get rid of deuterium in your table. Okay. It's coming from the way the sky and the way it rains. Right. Yeah, that it's a bigger conversation. But the carnivore diet is deuterium is stuck in sugar, in carbohydrates. So fruit are super high in deuterium. And so the Bible, Deuteronomy, this is where it's coming from that word. It's coming all from the same word. And the book of Genesis actually describes deuterium in a way, and the way, if you read it, and believe it or not, there's stories of hydrogen and deuterium in the Bible. And we're kind of looking at it. Laszlo Boros is a researcher and is a physician, teacher at UCLA, pediatrics. And he's really into researching deuterium, and he looks at it as the cause of all mental illness, all breakdown in the mitochondria. He thinks it's the most toxic poison. You should never give a child fruit or fruit juice because of the deuterium content. It literally makes people go mad. So the implications of deuterium in the brain causing mental illness and psychotic breaks.
So fruit's fine, fruit juice is bad.
Fruit is not good. No.
Fruit, come on, just fruit.
Why is fruit okay?
I heard fruit is, I'm just telling you what I've heard.
Okay.
That anything that ends with a berry is good.
Okay. So all of the berries you're eating don't exist in nature. You know that, right? Every fruit that you're eating has been engineered and made. That is not a natural.
Everyone?
Yes.
Everyone.
Those berries don't exist anywhere in the world of nature. They were engineered.
Everyone.
Yes.
There's never been a thing as a blueberry. Naturally.
Yes, there has been. You aren't eating those.
Oh.
So the bananas you see, the strawberries you're seeing.
I know.
Correct. I'm saying a banana has existed in nature, and we took it and we perverted it.
Okay.
We turned a banana into an Oreo.
So
if you came across what a real banana was like, what a real berry was like in nature, the way like 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, you wouldn't be that enamored by it.
Okay.
A little bit here and there, but they aren't that good.
Okay.
They don't look or taste anything. We've made the sugar concentration so much stronger. So there's more of this heavy water, deuterium, which breaks the mitochondria, which therefore the mitochondria are if they are not working right, that's cancer. If they are not working right, that's mental illness. If they are not working right, that's brain fog. That is aging. That is Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, they're all mitochondrial disorders. Autism is a mitochondrial disorder. So you want to protect those and you want to heal those.
What can you do about deuterium? What can you do?
Don't eat sugar. Don't eat high sugar things.
Refined sugar.
Anything, fruit included. High glycemic index things. So a fatty fruit is different. So people don't realize anything with a seed is a fruit. So an avocado is a fruit. Celery is a fruit. Squash is fruit. Pumpkin is fruit. Zucchini is a fruit. Those are not the same thing. So those are fruits. Those are low glycemic. They're going to have a low deuterium content. It's very safe. Eat a lot of meat, fish, and eggs. Low deuterium.
Fish, and eggs.
And a lot of sunlight, heat, red light panels. Those deplete deuterium.
Okay. And the less deuterium, the better.
Correct.
All right.
And you can take a test. You can test it.
Okay.
You can do pre and post.
All right. I'm getting my blood tested tomorrow. So have them test for deuterium.
Well, you won't be able to do it that way, but there's a special test. They don't do a blood. Your regular lab is not going to do it. There's some very specific deuterium testing.
Always something extra.
Yeah. Listen, they don't even know how to test a thyroid properly. You think they're going to know this? You should talk to Robert Slovak. He's a genius about water, or Dr. Borosh, amazing. Stephanie Seneff.
Talk to me about this hydrogen.
Okay, so hydrogen is fascinating, though. I think it's one. So here's a pro tip, right? So drinking.
What do you have that I should have?
I have lots of
things.
And
I should.
Well, let me say this.
Be using.
So listen, it's good you have.
I have all the other stuff.
You need.
So I need all. You need the
hydrogen.
Good stuff.
So let me say this to anybody listening. There's 3 ways to get the hydrogen. Well, okay, 3 easy ways. You can take. There's tablets that you drop in water, and you take them.
That'll hydrogenate the water.
Yeah, and that's 8 to 9 parts per million, and
that makes the molecule smaller, so it gets into the mitochondria or whatever.
Well, hydrogen's doing so many. It's a selective antioxidant, so it's not going to just be an antioxidant if you don't need it. It comes in and helps oxidize and reduce as you need it. But it's an extraordinary for heart attacks. So my mom has a bottle of these sitting there, and I have every single one of my patients knows this. You keep a bottle of those Quicksilver Scientific tablets right in that house. If you don't want to take them every day, you feel like you're having chest pains, you drop 2 of those things in some water while you're calling 911. You drink it down.
What's the tablet?
I like Quicksilver Scientific.
Quicksilver.
But there's only 2 or 3 manufacturers. They're all using the same.
Scientific.
Yeah. There's only a couple.
It's hydrogen pill?
It's hydrogen tablets.
Hydrogen tablets.
Yeah. So they're nice. You can put them in your pocket. You can put it in your purse. You can travel with it.
You drop it in water?
You drop it in water. You can do it before you work out, after you work out.
It's not as high tech as I'd like. I'd like something
No,
more
I got something for you. But
give me the high tech.
Listen,
thing.
I have a lot of 80-year-old ladies that are my patients or my students.
Give me the high tech thing.
So let me tell you how to use it so they know how to use it. So you need to make it and drink it. You don't sip on that all day. It's the dose that matters. You want a high amount of it. So you want a full glass of water, let the tablet start dissolving. When that tablet starts to get to the top and it's floating, you can start drinking it then. You don't swallow the tablet. Some people have done this. I try to
Bad idea?
Bad idea. But then you're drinking it and it's still dissolving. If you want to drink it pretty soon, because it's not a sip on it 8 hours a day thing. You can do that 3 times a day easily. But in Japan, they have hydrogen in the ambulances. If somebody has a heart attack, that's the first thing they put them on is hydrogen. So hang on. Let me finish. Hang on. Okay. So that's the tablet.
All right.
Most of the little water bottles that are making hydrogen are nonsense and ridiculous, and there's really hardly anything in there. I wouldn't waste my time. There might be one that has come out that's good, but I've reviewed about 10 and they're all garbage. But that being said,
how do you review them?
We send them off and measure them. It's a pain. It's difficult. You got to deal with the science. They're too low. There's hardly anything in it. So why not just use the tablet? Then you get a whole bunch of it. You feel it.
What if you drop the tablet into the hydrogen water bottle? Huh?
Well, you could see, this is what I do.
Then you get
so
double.
the amino acids that you take, right? You do perfect aminos. I do optimal aminos. I put in a glass of water.
But they're similar, yes?
It's the same as half the price. It's 100% the same patented formula. So I put
you do optimal
aminos is half the price. It's all the master amino protocol essential amino. They came off patent a few years ago, so anybody can make it now. So I try to save my people money. But it's all made in the same factory. So you put that in there, you put the hydrogen, and I take that when I'm in the sauna, and I put my Quinton water. I also use Quinton hypertonic in there. So there's a pro tip. That's a super jacked up Quinton water. It's plasma, Quinton. 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 This might help the vasovagal a lot. Yeah, Quinton. You can get it from Quicksilver Scientific.
Okay.
You should bring Christopher Shade, who owns Quicksilver. He's a genius. I love him. He's a genius. He's the funniest biochemist on earth. And that's hard to find one of those. So then inhalation, though, is very different. And most hydrogen machines, so you just put it up your nose and you're inhaling it. Most hydrogen machines I've seen on the market, I've been reviewing them for 5 years. And to find one, they're $6,000 to $12,000. And I usually get uncomfortable with those kind of numbers for my patients. The one I have right now is Holy Hydrogen, and it's $2,500. So that's the thing I have with me. It's small.
25. What is it called?
Holy Hydrogen.
HOLY. That's funny.
Holy Hydrogen. So it makes hydrogen water you can drink, and it does the inhalation though.
So
I have patients who sleep on. I have miracle stories. I have a child who's had multiple seizures, non-verbal, violent autistic. We put her on the Holy. She was having multiple seizures. Cops were called in. 5 cops had to pin her to the ground. They were looking at institutionalizing her. Put her on the Holy Hydrogen, and instantly, every day, didn't have a seizure or an outbreak for 6 months. It's where we're at right now. It's extraordinary. I would never have thought that was going to happen. I was like, what?
So I understand. Quicksilver Scientific has hydrogen tablets. Don't swallow the tablet.
Right.
They have Quinton water.
Quinton. Dr. Quinton.
I'm spelling it.
Yeah. Quinton.
Quinton.
Yes. So there's hypertonic.
And Christopher Shade's the guy.
Christopher Shade owns a company.
Optimal Aminos is a different company.
Optimal Aminos is a different company.
And Holy Hydrogen is a different company.
Different company.
And it's $2,500?
$2,500.
And that'll give you drinkable hydrogen water?
And inhalation.
And inhalation, what is it? You just put it in your nose?
Yeah, so you just change the top of it and it goes up. I have a ton of videos on Instagram. I do sell it all, Eric.
Of course.
I'm an affiliate of anything. I'll pretty much sell,
Of course.
Except I won't sell, my watch. But it's amazing. And so again, that price point blew my mind. Now it's still a lot, but I've had, again, like a patient, so when a family buys it, a husband and wife and 2 kids, it's not so bad. She told me within 3 days, the patient on the back thing, she was, I feel like I have my son back. And this was raging, violent, aggressive behavior. Children there's a thing called pandas. When the brain gets inflamed from strep or mold or Lyme, there's a common term, we call it Lyme rage. And it's bad enough when an adult gets it, but ask a teenager to try and control that. They can't. They barely have the skill set. Now I induce something into their brain, make it be on fire, and they get violent. The hydrogen has it's water on an inflamed brain faster than in many things.
So how is this? Is when you make this hydrogen water, will it hold? If I put it into something like this? No, it's gas. It's going to leak. No, it's not. You make it and you drink it. I don't even drink the water. I just use the inhalation. Okay. So it's not something you can store really.
No. There's they sell something. So Holy Hydrogen actually does sell a special bag or container to do that for a certain amount of time. I don't have it because I don't have the.
How big is the machine?
It's a pitcher. It's about this big.
It's a pitcher.
Yeah, it's small. I got a picture on my phone.
How do you inhale from a pitcher?
You change the top and you put the cannula on it, and it's bubbling it through the water. It's making it hydrogen's in water. It's extracting it from the water. I keep hitting this mic. It extracts it from water. That's where you're getting it from.
So it turns it into a gas and you inhale the gas?
Correct. Huh. You don't need a tank of hydrogen. Yeah. You extract
all
it from water.
I've seen is medical grade hydrogen machines.
And then they're expensive.
Yeah. So this is something in between.
It's high
Okay.
enough parts per million. Yeah.
All right.
Now
Yeah.
there are more expensive versions. I've seen them, and I'm just, you want to go spend 10, 12,000, go ahead. They exist and they're good. I just was like, I got people, when you're a family with autism, they've maybe spent $100,000, but by the time they get to me,
Like if somebody has one session of, how long does it take to inhale it?
it's set for a 30 or a 90-minute session.
So you sit there for 30 minutes and just breathe.
Yeah, you can just do other stuff. I eat.
Breathe,
I work.
Breathe through your nose.
Yeah, it's up your nose. You don't even feel it. It's silent.
30 to 90 minutes.
I do 90-minute sessions twice a day.
Twice a day?
You could be doing it right now. So I did Zooms today. I trained my team. I did a 2-hour leadership Zoom.
Do you have like
I had
this
it,
thing like
correct.
like
And I did it. I do it on Zoom with it on.
Like everybody's like, are you okay?
Nobody says that.
After the first time.
They all say, send me your link. I'm always marketing, Eric. Yeah.
All right.
I just do it all the time. I have one patient, he sleeps in it. So his daughter needs it for autism and he just
So if
wears it all
somebody
night.
takes it one time, will they feel a difference?
Sometimes. I've had people the very first time when I had it too. Like
How often do you need to take it
kinda high.
for to have a reasonable degree of efficacy?
That depends on what the situation is. Like if this was a post-heart attack, it might be 2-3 days. It'll be impressive. Like what they do in the hospital in Japan. The hospitals in Japan use it. They're all over. There's
For
studies.
somebody like myself, how long?
I don't know. I don't know the level.
Guess.
I mean, it could be 2 days. It could be a week. I don't
What
really
and what
know.
do you feel?
You'll sleep better, clarity of thought, less aches and pains. It just kind of depends on what the body has a hierarchy. I don't know what your body needs to do.
Why don't you drink the water too?
I'm lazy. I don't want to change the filter in the top. I just use the tablets. I have the tablet, so I drink the tablet and then I inhale.
Does the tablet have any taste?
No.
No.
I mean, I'm always putting it with the powder, but no, it's fine. I don't, it's not really.
You do electrolytes and all that too?
Quinton is electrolytes.
Oh, Quinton is electrolytes. Quinton.
Yes. René Quinton. He was French.
Quinton.
It's a doctor. It's extraordinary. You can put Quinton water straight in an IV, go right into you. So the isotonic is exactly like it's from the ocean. It's exactly the exact osmolarity of the human body, of our own plasma.
Osmolarity. You're going to throw around osmolarity.
But it has the same minerals as the body inside. Now the isotonic stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, helps you sleep, calm you down. The hypertonic is more salt. It's better to sympathetic. It's good for a sporting event. It's
when
good
do you
for a
take
sauna.
it during the day?
I take the hypertonic in the morning to wake up, to get the cortisol and the adrenaline going, wake me up, sympathetic. I take it before a sauna.
I thought cortisol was bad.
No, it's not. Why would your body make anything bad for you?
Maybe I'm thinking of a different.
No, you're thinking it because that's what people say because you've been brainwashed. Cortisol is
Like
a
your
hormone.
cortisol levels are way too high. And that's because of that, you're stressed out.
I know, yeah. And the sun is bad for you too, right? Yeah.
Well,
And the
my
estrogen's gonna cause
dermatologist
cancer.
tells me to hide from the sun, which I do.
Yeah. I would
So
challenge
I
would challenge
I
that.
use red light instead, and I've done enough damage to my skin.
What's your D level?
Vitamin D?
Mhm.
Good now.
Do you take it though?
I take it every day.
Yeah, that's the problem. You should never take D.
What? Who do you believe anymore? Everybody says if your vitamin D is bad, it's really a big problem.
It is a big problem. You know how you make it? From cholesterol and the sun. Why? This is a whole solar panel. My body is a solar panel.
I know, but I'm using a red light therapy bed.
That doesn't make it. UV light is what makes D. Red light doesn't do it, but red light is the cure for any damage. That's why they exist in nature in perfect metrics and ratios. What was the original statement? Oh, isotonic is you take it before you go to bed because it helps you sleep.
I never know who to believe.
I know.
Everybody's very
This is. I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to tell you.
You, Atia,
I'm going to tell you.
Uberman,
Yeah.
Brecca. They're all
I'm
very
going to
certain.
challenge every single one of them on many things.
They're all very, very certain about their science. All of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you are too.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I know?
Go to nature. Look to nature. Trust your body. I believe so deeply in the innate intelligence and wisdom that made me. There is nothing deranged, deformed, or stupid about what my body does. Every cell in my body,
Unless there's genetic defects.
No, hang on. Even that, listen, let's not go to some weird outlier. Let's go to the divinity that makes the human system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm made of perfection. Why would I make so much cholesterol? Why would every cell make cholesterol? Why would the brain make cholesterol? Why does the liver spend 70% of its function making cholesterol? We clearly must, but then they've told you cholesterol is bad. Cholesterol is something you're supposed to push down.
Well, my cholesterol is too high.
The sun, no. Okay, let me pause. Okay. You're just, at this point, you're trying to poke me now. I think you're just doing it. The sun is what causes all life.
My cholesterol is too high. My visceral fat is too high.
Well, your visceral fat is too high. We've talked about that. I know your number is too high, but it's
I'm down
better.
to 2.8.
You're getting better. It's
from
getting
5.5.
And it's only, that's so great. That's so great.
Better.
So good.
Yeah.
You need a little bit. It's energy for the organs.
I got to get it under a pound though.
Yeah, visceral fat feeds the organs immediate
But
energy.
if you're in the high 200s for cholesterol, that's not bad.
That's fantastic.
How is that fantastic?
My patients, I require them all to be at a minimum 220 because you know why? People with a cholesterol of 2, that's the magic number. Look up David Perlmutter's information. The data is clear. They're lying to you. People with a cholesterol number of 220 and higher, you know what the normal cholesterol level was? The perfect cholesterol number for my grandmother a few years ago was 222 because 220 and higher have don't die of anything, significantly less all-cause mortality of everything. 220 and higher prevents you from getting dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's.
How about blood sugar levels, all that, triglycerides?
Triglycerides are a problem. Triglycerides means you
drink
too.
Those you need to get
Those
down.
need to be low, correct.
Okay. How about testosterone? What's your testosterone
I love
level?
testosterone.
What testosterone level should I be?
Well, the number, it's all about
Optimal.
free. You need to be 5% of your total. So your free testosterone, you want like 5% of your total. We want to look at the 3 to 5%. Are you converting what you have and making it available as free? That's more important. And then how do you feel? So I've had guys with a testosterone of 500 feel like $1 million because their free testosterone is pretty high. I've had guys with a total testosterone of 1200 and they're converting at like 0.75%. We don't have any free testosterone, so they feel like crap. So it's not really like, I wish I could say 750 to 1200 total, but like really what's the free testosterone? That's what really matters.
Ratio.
Yeah. And it's typically 3 to 5%, but of it.
And what do you want your ratio to be?
3 to 5% of your total you should be able to convert it to being available. But again, you could have the number be too low. Like I've had guys.
My number was too low.
They're 150, 200.
Yeah.
Because you were doing it wrong. And then
I started.
Yeah. You shut down your own production
and
more.
then I was inconsistent.
Yeah. Because once you start, you're starting to push it down.
Yeah.
We could come in there a little bit to give you some relief, and they could have pulled it back off, but you probably were dosing too high, and then
now I'm back.
Yeah, that is one of those tricky ones.
Consistency is important.
Yeah, at your age, at a 30-year-old, we could jumpstart it a little bit and add a little bit of HGH analogs, put a little ipamorelin or CJC.
What's your favorite peptides?
Well, BPC 157 is a standard.
Mm-hmm.
GHK copper. So today I took BPC 157, GHK copper, 5-amino 1-MQ, testosterone. For peptides, that's all I did. I also stacked some methylene blue in there. That's not a peptide. So I love BPC 157. That's a standard. BPC with TB4, TB500, it's a standard regeneration. I love KPV. I use a ton of that in practice because it deals with high histamine levels, mast cell activation. I have a lot of that. Do you even know what any of this is? And it's okay.
I know some of them.
5-amino 1-MQ is extraordinary.
I know that one. I know testosterone.
Yeah. So all the HGH analogs.
157.
Yeah.
Do you think the government's going to take them away?
I could care less. Because I can get anything and everything. I already got the ways. My people have anything and everything they need.
You're like like in the Amazon jungle, you're going to figure it out?
I don't need to figure. I've already got it done. It's already done. It's
hidden
my
formulators.
patients have
There's hidden
VIP
labs.
peptide concierges. Yeah. Where do you think we've been getting them we've been using this for 60 years. Where do you think we've been getting them, Eric?
I don't know.
I didn't start peptides last week. People have been doing this for decades. All the biohackers have been getting their stuff. We've been shipping them in from Russia. All the bioregulators, most of the researchers out of Russia. You should. So let me add C-Link, C-Max, two of my absolute favorite. I use those all the time with patients. They're brain peptides, cerebral lysine, one of the greatest brain peptides.
You guys send me a list of peptides, will you?
Yes, but you have to. I'm writing a book right now on it, but okay. But you have to be careful. You got to know you don't do anything and everything. You have to start simple.
I understand. I'll send you my protocol, my total protocol, top to bottom. You can look at it, judge it.
Well, you got to be right. Hormones are first.
You can judge it, and you can say this is bullshit. This one's not. Who's this idiot who put you on this one?
I don't need to say that.
Yeah, but you can. It's okay.
But let me epitalion and thymolin. Are you doing peptides though? Are you doing?
Yeah.
Them? Okay. So have you done? So for longevity, people should be stacking epitalion and thymolin twice a year.
I feel like I'm doing everything there is to do.
Well, okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And they have to phase it. Your doctors,
the only thing I'm
not
have
doing, to phase it.
The only thing I have not done is I have not gone south of the border to do stem cells.
Yeah. How did I know that was coming out? I've done exosome stem cells.
I've done exosomes.
It's amazing.
They're super expensive here.
They're super expensive.
Crazy money.
It's so much money. And that's why you get so much more bang for your buck with peptides. You know what else you get a lot of bang for your buck from is ozone therapies. So hyperbaric is an oxygen therapy. So all the oxygen, so ozone and prolozone.
I've done ozone where they pull your blood and then oxygenate your blood and then put it back in.
Oh yeah. You just
I've done that.
10 pass, 3 pass or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've done that.
I love it. I love it.
And I'm looking forward to the hyperbaric.
But ozone therapy, what you did, the MAH UBI, so basically it's you take it out, you put it in a bag, they run it through, they put the ozone in, they run it back through a machine, put it under UV light, they irradiate it, charge it back up, put it back in you. Fantastic. It's I recommend it almost for all my patients. If you have Lyme disease, mold, Parkinson's, like that, you need a traumatic brain injury, post-concussive injury, get it. Everybody should be on.
So I'm going to send you my protocols, and then you're going to send me the peptides, the full list.
I might have rectal ozone in my house. I love it.
You're putting ozone in your rectum?
Correct.
Does it make you fart?
Yes. But it's
healthy farts?
It's the same as going through the blood. So you know how hard it is to put a violent autistic child to IV them? It's hard. But the mother can do this at home.
A mother can take a violent autistic child and put a hose in their butt?
Yes. Yep. I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times.
It's giving me a mental picture.
And that's the way they do it in Cuba. All of the Cuban ozone is all rectal, and their research is showing it's just as good or not better than blood. It's cheaper, it's easy. People can do it in the comfort of their own home. And the more you have at home,
doesn't it just inflate you?
No, it's a gas. It goes right through and goes into the blood.
Inflates you.
It takes a minute to hold it. I'm not going to lie.
It's got to bloat you up.
It makes you want to go poop. You're like, oh God, oh God. Yeah, it's a little tricky.
Okay, well, I'm going to send you all this stuff.
Okay.
So I'm going to do.
You're trying to get free healthcare. I love it. You're brilliant. I'm just
Why
kidding.
wouldn't I?
I know, right?
I want everything.
Yeah. Hydrogen is where I think the thing you need more than
hydrogen.
Yeah, if I was going to pick, I'd go with hydrogen.
Okay. So, awkward pivot.
Okay. Let me.
How the hell did you get introduced to network marketing?
A patient.
A patient.
Okay. Well, let me say it like this. Great products that I've been using for decades with patients. Probably the thing that intrigued me the most, or that I was using a lot for 30 years, I've been into essential oils. So the clinical use, again, I specialize in mental illness and autism recovery. So essential oils are extraordinary with that. And my son's pediatrician, which is also my nephew is autistic. And so I got him for him. He was training me. And so he taught me a lot. I like the oils for the emotional reasons, but he was teaching me the clinical, oh, no, Stephanie, this is parasites, there's this, blah, 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 blah. So I started using them much more medicinally. And I loved Young Living, right? Right. So that was back in the day. And then, of course, we had the whole doTERRA drama. And so we all started using doTERRA too. So it's because of those two companies that I was, well, I don't really care what it is. I really didn't understand it. I just know these are amazing. And
so you use
I'm
as
wearing
a consumer.
No, my patients.
No, I know, but you weren't like building a big
Correct.
town.
I was never building a team. And so there's lots of products that would come out that I liked.
When did you decide that you wanted to build a team?
So, well, when did I really decide?
Yeah.
I would say last year at GoPro.
Okay.
That's when I really decided.
I think I'm going to do this. This is like a real thing.
Correct.
I can help a lot of people.
I cried. I was blown away. I was inspired. I was like, oh my God. I love inspirational, Rocky, Rudy, comeback, underdog stories. That's one of my favorite sports movies of them, somebody doing it, it's my favorite. And it was story after story after story that you just wanted to, strangers, these winners up there, and I was cheering and crying and happy for them. And my practice has been, that's what I do for my patients. I hold hope and I hold that space until they're ready to grab it themselves. And then I'm just there to guide them to pull themselves out of the abyss, and they take off. And I'm like, yay, right? So I saw the same thing, and I was like, there's a whole different skill set here. Now, I'd been making a lot of money.
Sure.
I figured I was doing it a little. I mean, I did it, but I did it in an interesting way because I ended up being on the medical boards. I ended up being a scientific advisor. I did, product formulation. So I was building big, but I just was able to do it sort of on accident, sheer will. I clubbed my way into, I'm disciplined and consistent, but I didn't have the skill set. So GoPro made me go, oh, and it was a lot of, I'm not doing anything these people are doing. There's a lot I don't know, and I love learning. I'm obsessed with getting better at it. What
percentage of your life today is medical practitioner, and what percentage is network marketing professional? What was it a year ago?
Okay, a year ago, it was probably 50-50.
Okay, and today?
Well, my company fell apart and shut its doors, so I had to swing. So it went back. Your
network marketing company had
trouble. Yes, they had some trouble, and things radically changed out of my control. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
happens.
Yeah, it happens, and so probably 80%. So as I was figuring out what to do, 13 companies asked me to be their chief science officer or their board, and it takes a while to figure out if was I even going to do this again, or what am I going to do? Right.
Yep.
Is something I care about or want to do, whatever. So I'm probably, and I have found that. So I would say though, it's about a 75% my practice and courses and stuff that I do, and 25% the network marketing.
And where do you see it 3 years from now?
Oh, that should probably be a radical shift. So, I mean, that could be much sooner. I have my number that I need it to be. It's a struggle here. I love seeing patients because I like helping people, but there's a lot of...
You can help a lot more people in your organization.
There's a lot of paperwork and staffing and things that have to go with that.
It's hustle money. Yeah.
It's different. It's just it's a different emotional investment.
They call it professional, but it's still blue collar work. If you're not there, nothing's happening.
Yeah. And I have doctors and coaches that work for me. So I still see patients when I'm not there, but I have to manage all those people. Mm-hmm. I still have to see those patients, and I still have to make sure the seizures go away, the headaches go away, the suicidal thinking goes away. That's a different thinking and pressure than me developing somebody to believe in themselves, than me developing somebody to have conversations, than me developing somebody to break a mindset belief, their unconscious scripts. Building somebody into go after their dreams is very different than making them recover. Yes, than recover from an illness. So there's pain, misery, and complaining and suffering over here that I have to, the space you said, I don't know if I want to hear that. It's hard. I have to hear about cutting myself, suicide. I hear that all day long. I like that I can help, but you have a lot of failures in there too.
Sure.
I can't teach everybody to drink.
No, some people have decided that's going to be
they're addicted to being
story.
sick. Yeah. And it's hard to break that victim mentality. And, this is, it's just, development, building. I said it today. I was like, I was preaching. I'm like, sorry, I was preaching. And they're like,
so you're 25-75 today, 25 network marketing, 75 practice. A year from today, is it reverse?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Likely.
I would like it to, I just don't think, I'm not comfortable saying I'm going to walk away from practice,
I'm not saying you should.
I want to be, but I'd be consistently less, just getting my coaches that they're really
do it when you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do it on your terms.
Yeah. Much more selective. Maybe I only have 2 or 3
do
clients
it in
a
style.
month. Yeah. Maybe it's just a certain type of client. You have a very different type of client when they're paying $20,000 a month versus $500 a month. It's a different type of client, and they do everything. $20,000 a month. They do everything you say, and they don't fight you. It's a very different world. So, I used to have patients sent to me from a drug rehab, alcohol, and I was like, I'm done with this. Sorry, I don't want them anymore. And they're like, but I said, the money doesn't matter because
I've got a family member who struggles with it so much. We put him through therapy, didn't do anything.
No. It's you can help anybody when they come to it, when they take their money out.
He said he was ready.
Well, then don't give up. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. That one is very hard. Alcohol, drugs. There's a lot that goes on underneath there. There's other underlying chemistry issues, trauma issues, inflammatory issues. But I can't make anybody get I just said it to a little girl, 19-year-old, who's dissociative, and we're doing the things, taking the peptides, things are happening, and it's still the diet is M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, Starbucks, energy drinks, and pizza. I'm not sure what you think BPC 157 is going to do to your gut. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I said that I'm not going to be able to get you better. There's no amount of money or therapy I'm going to be able to do on that metabolic chaos that you're doing. Yeah. So we're going to have to find, my job is to find the levers and the tools to help with the control and the willpower, which peptides can calm it down enough, use neurofeedback, other electromagnetic medicines to make them be able to make better decisions and control themselves a little bit and have more emotional stability. And then they still have to do the work, right? We're just there to make it easier. Like, this is going to be hard, make no mistake. Yeah. But can I soften it?
For some, it's an interesting thing. For some people, just have to realize that life is hard and it's okay.
Yeah. That's the same thing I do in this business, network marketing. You have to tell them. You should see, what it's like, Eric, the first meeting. So let's tell me what you want. What are your dreams, your goals, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I want to quit my job. Okay, what's the money number of that? I need $15,000 a month. Okay. Have you ever made $15,000 a month in your other job? Well, no. Well, what do you make? $3,000 a month. Okay, and you've done network marketing for 10 years and you've never been in profit, but you expect me by the end of the year to get you at 10 or 15,000 a month, and you've never made that in your life. Now listen, what's wonderful about this is that is possible, but you're going to have to do some work on yourself. Then they say, I don't want to send that message to so-and-so because of what? Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're going to have to push ourselves here.
I went to my personal trainer and I asked him, and he's in, peak physical condition. I said, so how long does it take for me to look like you?
25 years.
And he said, how long would it take for me to know what you know in network marketing? And I went, oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah. That's what people don't understand.
It's going to take a minute.
Yeah, it's time. Like, you've been sick for 20 years.
Now, network marketing is very forgiving. I mean,
it is so forgiving. Yeah, you can come in here
and you can make some stuff happen.
You really can. And that's what my one patient said to me. She's in your mastermind with you, right? Yeah. So, and it was, Dr. Rimka. And I said, yeah. She's, I want you to hear what I have to say. So, all these trips I go on? Yeah. She's, I don't pay for those, right? I went, I don't know. I'm just getting ready to hook her brain up. And then he was like, you do like amazing things. And I know you do well enough and everything, but like, you could make so much more money. And I was like, why? You don't, if you would be open to letting me help you, because I'm driving in a 15-year-old Nissan. And like, I don't really get, and wearing the same scrubs every day. And she's like, I don't even do anything. And I was like, what? She's, I just want another Escalade. Like, it's ridiculous. I went, well, I don't even know what you're talking about, but like maybe one day, like your job is not to help me. I'm good. But it was just a little bit of her talking about it, saying like, look, I'm able to be here. My whole family's getting care. We're all getting better from our psychological trauma. And the only reason I can do this, that I'm not working, my husband's not working, and everybody can get taken care of, is because I built this business and all these other rock stars are actually under me doing a whole thing. You don't even have to do it. And I was like, and so I just heard what she said. And the product, she said, is this good for me to take? And I'm like, yeah, actually. And how do I get it? I want to try it. I'm like, this looks great. Well, let me see it. And it was great. I got extraordinary results with my patients. And because of that, I had a whole bunch of doctors on my team, and it just kind of went sort of viral, and it happened accidentally. And that was the company that said, can you want to be on the board? And I would talk, and I'm like, this is super fun. Because when you practice, we're lonely. I'm by myself.
Entrepreneurs are.
Yeah.
As a general species.
Yeah. And because everybody, like your staff aren't exactly your friends. You can't say everything to them about anything. Like you might be like, I don't even know if I can pay him next week. I can't let anybody know that, And so it's a different thing. And especially if you have a position like a doctor or a therapist, a clinician, you can't socialize at all with anybody who comes in your office. You can't date anybody. You can't socialize with anybody. It's just
it's like a rule, right? Like
oh yeah. Yeah. It's just a very strange thing. So
once they stop being a patient, then there's a certain amount of time. Then they can.
Every state has. I will never though, and I've had patients quit my office. Never. It's on never. I will never.
5 years later, they're just amazing. They walk into your life.
Unless it was another doctor. So unless it was a doctor or a therapist, and they were like a colleague already, and then that would happen, I maybe. But I never have. So I will say that could be an exception, because I have a lot of doctors that see me. Right. So we talk to each other differently from the get-go. Right. Like they're a surgeon, they're like, listen, doc, but they're coming for neurofeedback. I have a very unique niche. So that's different, but if they had told me about their trauma and their rape and their this and their weird sexual stuff, no.
No.
Because I know too much. Yeah. And it's inappropriate, and there is transference, and many of them do get a crush on me. And it's like, no, we're not doing that. Sorry. And I had 2 or 3 I looked up the laws. It said, good for you. It's never happening. And it has nothing to do with them. It just has to do with my ethics.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So anyway, I liked the culture aspect. Was super fun, like convention and talking and speaking and having a reason to talk to people about not mental health stuff. Yeah. Not their sickness stuff was fun.
Just personal growth.
Yeah. And then when I started making money, that does become a little bit like, what? Because private practice and doctors, unless you're like in plastics and stuff, it's not a lot of money.
Or you create your own care facility.
Yeah. And even then you have a lot, people don't understand the overhead. And if you get sick, like I got mold illness and I got really sick, and I had a mold problem in the house. And so as my performance was going down, it was the miracle of this product that was just rolling, and I wasn't doing much, another 15, 20,000 a month. That really mattered.
You bet.
It meant a lot to me, because I could cut some hours, and I was, having to buy infrared saunas and ozone machine. I had to get myself better. Right. So I had to invest a lot of money. So now that I know, but see, I was making 20,000 a month, and all these guys were making 100 and 200, 300,000 a month. And I was very much like, someone explained that to me. And then they said, well, there's a difference. You're a customer getter, and we build teams. Well, what is that?
Show me that.
And I'm like, well, I know how to build teams. I build people. I played ball. I coach. I know exactly how to build. I know how to build a player, So
then teach people how to build teams, how to build teams.
And it's super fun.
Yeah.
Because you're giving them a path to some freedom. And freedom is probably my top value in life.
Well, Dr. Stephanie Rimka, this has been a fun conversation. We've talked for a long time. Very interesting, very fascinating for me. All these, I'm still sorting through what's real, what's not real.
I know.
What's science, what's pseudoscience, what sounds good, what is good, how my body feels, exploring that whole journey.
Which is so important. I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Yeah.
Going into listening, just paying attention.
Yeah.
How do I feel?
Right.
You're getting embodied. So that's the beginning.
Getting sleep right. Sleep's a
Huge.
challenge.
Yeah.
Getting sleep right.
Epitalion. You need to do epitalion. It'll help your sleep. It resets 3 melatonin.
You have to send me all this stuff.
Okay.
Melatonin is one of those pills that works in opposite effect for me.
Let's put you on epitalion.
It wires me up. I mean, all I get is like restless leg syndrome, and it keeps me up all night if I take melatonin. Other people knocks them out. They're out cold. I go the opposite. Okay. Weird. Anyway, thank you for spending some time sharing some ideas. You got a lot of links to send me. You have a lot of peptides to share and a lot of machines and stuff to be able to do.
I'll send you my peptide cheat sheet.
Yeah, I need the cheat sheet. Okay. I appreciate it. But thanks for coming.
I love being here. Thank you.
So that is my conversation with Dr. Stephanie Rimka. A lot of things to think about myself. Hopefully you have a lot of things to think about. Whether you agree with everything that she said or not, I think, as Jim Rohn would say, you need to become a product of your own conclusions. In other words, do your homework, find out how your body works, find out what the science really says. What's science? What's pseudoscience? What's for real? What's fake? How does your body react to different things? Like Tim Ferriss is one of the people that I admire because he kind of treats his body like a laboratory where he tests all these different protocols on himself to see how his body reacts and what works for him. I'm in the process of doing the same thing myself, and I don't think that's a bad idea so long as it's healthy, it's reasonable, and it's managed under some sort of care. I am not a medical professional. I would always suggest that you talk to your medical professionals, whoever is helping you with your health, longevity, your health span, as well as your lifespan. Make sure that you're getting good care. I think we're living in a magical time, a time where we can live for a long time and live well, so long as we do the right things now. So if you know somebody that is interested in this type of a topic, make sure you forward this to them. Make sure that you help us share the word. You helping us let more people know about this type of information is very, very valuable to us. And I thank you in advance. So until next time, everybody have a great day, and I'll see you soon.